Maintaining our mental health is crucial in this chaotic and noisy world, full of stressors that can impair our discernment, judgment, and result in a diminished sense of our overall well being. And that's what mental health is. Mental health refers to our overall well being. It's ultimately how we think about ourselves. Neglecting mental health can have perilous consequences. I've experienced that firsthand as someone who suffers from bipolar type 1 disorder with psychotic features. I speak extensively about my experiences and battles with bipolar disorder in over 70 plus videos on my channel in a playlist called Bipolar Breakdown if you're interested in checking those out. But mental health goes far beyond just bipolar disorder. There's so many conditions. There's anxiety disorders, there's other mood disorders, there's personality disorders. And one of the commonalities with people who have mental health problems is stress can induce all kinds of negative outcomes. And that's why it's of paramount importance that we devise ways and methods that can reduce the levels and severity of stress that we experience, that can mitigate the effects that life stressors have on our mental well-being. In this video, I'm going to share some of the things that I do in order to reduce stress for myself in managing my own mental illness. If you do something that's different from what I do, feel free to share it in the comments below. Let's try to get a dialogue and conversation going and try to help out as many people as possible. I'm going to specifically talk about 5 things that can diminish stress, that can help mitigate the effects that stress has, and that can also help prevent stress to a varying degree. One of the things that I've been doing a lot lately is exercising. And when I absolve myself from a consistent exercise routine, that's where negativity and stress starts to creep in and I start to become overwhelmed. Exercise really helps me put things in perspective, and there's a saying about exercise that I really like, and it goes like this. If the effects of exercise could be prescribed in a bottle, it would be the most effective antidepressant in the world. Let that sink in. And exercise is something that is within our control in the sense that we make a choice on whether to do it or not. We make a choice if we want to go to the gym. We make a choice if we want to make excuses not to. We make a choice when we decide that, you know what, I'm not going to exercise because I don't want to go to the gym. You can do it at home. You can make the choice to do it at home. I do find myself making excuses at times, and it's when I make those excuses that I start to experience high levels of stress, because then I feel bad about the fact that I didn't commit to going to the gym that particular day, that I didn't exercise to any extent that particular day. And, there's all kinds of beneficial impacts that exercise has on mental health. It's not just about the physical benefits. And if you look at me, you look at a picture of me, you look at me right here on this video, you look at me in person, you can tell that I'm not exactly in impeccable shape. And that's because of my own experiences and battles with mental health. But I have been making a lot of progress. Last year I went from 354 pounds down to 310. My ultimate goal is to get back down to 180 pounds because that's where I was prior to a 6-month-long manic episode that significantly disrupted my life. So exercise, cannot speak favorably on it enough. Definitely do it. It's something that you don't have to do for 10 hours to get the mental health impacts. You could get the mental health positive benefits from doing it for 30 minutes a day. Even just 3 hours a week will get you. You don't even have to do it every day to get the mental health benefits. But I truly do believe that exercise is more beneficial the more you do it. That's how I feel in my personal experience. Other people may differ. I'm not talking about doing it to the point where your body becomes sore and you can't move and you feel like a 90-year-old who just can't move their bones and you just start to atrophy and waste away. No, not like that. But enough to where you truly give it your all and you get that heart rate up, whether it be cardio, you do resistance training, you do lifting, and you challenge yourself to persist. And that's one of my favorite quotes. It's by President Calvin Coolidge. Nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. I've applied it to so many aspects of my life, and it's something that I try to incorporate into my exercise routine when I'm feeling like I want to quit or get off the treadmill early. When I feel like I don't want to do another set of lifting, I recite that quote in my brain, and it keeps me going because I know that it's the truth. So many successful people in this world, their lives are a testament to that truth. But exercise is not the only thing that we can utilize in order to reduce our stress and manage our levels of stress. Another thing that's crucial for our mental health is getting a consistent night's sleep, and it's easier said than done. Someone who realizes that and has a lot of personal experience with that, racing thoughts can make sleep particularly difficult because our focus should be on sleeping, but we're thinking about, all these things we've said or things we might have done, things that we're ashamed of, or we might be thinking about our futures and the uncertainty, fear, and doubt that comes with that. I'm talking about these negative, overwhelming amounts of racing thoughts that creep in for myself and my experience typically around nighttime. And we need to be able to overcome that and get that good night's sleep, because without sleep, we're more prone to be stressed out. Nobody wants to go through their day lacking sleep. That's one thing that I think that we can all agree on. I mean, we've all probably had that experience of going a long time without sleep. For some of us, in my case, it was 5 days. For other people, the longest they may have been awake is 1 day. And even when you're awake for just 1 day without sleep, you don't feel like yourself. You don't feel like you're at 100%. You feel like you're at 20% or worse. And so getting a good night's sleep is so crucial to mitigating the effects of stress. It gives us the refreshment that we need in order to tackle and take on the tasks and challenges ahead of us on any given day. So do not neglect sleep. And one of the sayings that I've come up with myself is don't sleep. Not that. Let me finish. Don't sleep on the importance of sleep. In other words, don't neglect sleep. Don't allow yourself to become accustomed to this idea that sleep is not necessary. It's always necessary. It is a necessity for us to be operating and high functioning. It's a significant part and component of navigating this world, and it should be a part of everybody's self-care routine. And that's the third thing that I want to discuss is self-care. I have my own self-care routine. Other people have theirs, whether they know it or not. Whether or not they commit to that self-care routine on any given day, I think that's where we start to analyze and identify some discrepancies, because some people do commit, other people do not, for a wide variety of reasons. It's interesting how self-care, doing the things that you like and are passionate about, can mitigate and reduce the effects of stress, but also not doing them can have the opposite effect, and it could exacerbate the levels of stress that you feel, or increase the frequency and augment the amount of stress that you feel. And so my self-care routine looks a little something like this. It involves exercise. It involves sleep, which we just discussed. But it also involves reading. I like stepping outside of my perspective and putting myself in the shoes of others. It consists of video games. I like getting on, and that's how I get my social connection. I have a community of people that I play with on a consistent basis, whether it be Call of Duty or playing co-op campaigns with another one of my friends. It's something that keeps me socializing and having that connection, something that's so crucial. One of the 14 basic human desires identified by psychologist James Van Fleet, is sense of belonging. Another one of those human desires is sense of purpose. And having things that you like doing and doing them provides you purpose. When you wake up in the morning, you feel good about yourself knowing that ahead of you, there are things that you are going to enjoy doing. That there are things in your day that you are looking forward to doing. So having your self-care routine is so important. It doesn't have to look exactly like mine. It doesn't have to involve reading or video games. I do believe every self-care routine should involve exercise and sleep. That's where I think that a similarity has to exist for all of us. Neglecting those two things, as I mentioned, can just have so many negative consequences. And it certainly has in my life. Just look at me. You don't want to look like me right now and be 300 pounds, hundreds of pounds overweight with a BMI scale that's out of this world, BMI index score. Another thing that I do consistently that helps me mitigate the effects of stress and diminish the levels of stress that I feel is time management. More specifically, what I do is I carry these little pocket notebooks. And when I say carry, I mean I have them on me at almost all times. Maybe when I'm home, I'll just keep it in a room and put it down. It's not like I'm laying down with it in my sleep or anything, or while I'm cooking or playing video games. But it's always accessible to me. When I leave the house, I have it with me in my pocket. It's not a big deal. When I'm in the house, it's within reach. I could get to it in 10 seconds or less. And in those pocket notebooks, I like to make daily agendas where I mainly list the different aspects of my self-care routine that I want to accomplish throughout the day. So one of those things might involve exercise for 30 minutes or longer. It's a reasonable, attainable goal. It's not one that's going to stress me out. And it's something that I know that I can get it done if I just commit myself and if I want to do it. And I know that doing it will make me feel better. I'll list sleep. Make sure you get 8 hours of sleep. So then when I wake up, I can check off on my list for that day. I got a full night's sleep. I'll put something like read 20 pages of a book or read for 1 hour. And I oftentimes exceed the amount of pages or go on for much longer than the time I've designated for myself because I really just get my attention captured and I become completely captivated by the author that I'm reading. When I'm in reading mode, I'm in reading mode. And there's really no stopping me. I get locked in and focused. And that's one thing that I truly attribute to my mother. She read to me a lot when I was a little kid and helped me, induce me with a passion for reading. She instilled me with the importance of reading. And it's something that's stuck with me to this day. So for yourself, I would recommend, you don't need a pocket notebook, but having some kind of schedule that you stick to. Don't wait last minute to do things. Make sure that you're doing the important things every day. And make sure that you're doing it in a way that's not at the expense of your own mental health, in a way that's not causing you overwhelming amounts of stress. And we are going to encounter things in life that are stressful that we still have to do. But when we manage our time effectively and do them on our own terms, that's when the stress is reduced. That's when the stress does not hamper our ability to live up to our fullest potential. The last thing I want to discuss when it comes to stress management for mental illness, mental health, is acceptance. We have to accept that not everything in this world is within our control. We are living in an increasingly interconnected and interdependent global community, and there's no way for us to control everything that goes on. Each and every one of us is an individual, and as beautiful of a thing that is, we don't control others. We can control ourselves, we can control how we react to others or events. We don't control what happens to us, we do control how we react. When we encounter obstacles, we can overcome them. But we have to accept that there's going to be challenges. We have to accept that there's going to be things that we can't control. That is so crucial. Just that acknowledgement takes off so much stress, because then you don't have to be in this mindset where you're thinking, this is my fault and that is my fault. It's my fault that there's war in the Middle East, or it's my fault and I'm such a horrible person that it rained out today and the power went out and I couldn't get online with my friends like I said I was going to do. It's my fault. It's not your fault. It's not within your control to suddenly facilitate peace in the Middle East, right? That's a geopolitical issue that involves a significant number of people, people that are not in your network. You can't just control the weather and determine how much rain is disseminated or determine whether or not the power is going to go out. It's not your fault if that happens. And if you want to take steps in your life to work towards peace in the Middle East, you can do that. If you want to take steps in your life to prepare for different types of weather, whether it be getting a power generator, so if your power goes out, you can power it back on. There's things that we can do. So just because there's some things we can't do, it doesn't mean we're incapable of doing anything. In other words, it's part-whole fallacy. What's true of a part is not necessarily true of a whole. Part-whole fallacy. So in this video, I discussed the different stress management strategies that I utilize in order to mitigate life stressors, reduce life stressors, and really maximize and allow me to live up to my ultimate potential. All of the things that I delineated in this video are so important to managing my own mental health. And I'm interested in hearing your thoughts and perspective on what do you do? What do you do on a daily basis in order to manage your own mental health, in order to reduce stress? Because neglecting mental health simply is not the answer. It might be easier to do to just lay in bed all day or not commit ourselves to our self-care routine and just engulf ourselves in these negative thought trains. But in the long run, these things have detrimental effects on our overall well-being, our overall mental health. So maintaining our mental health, it's of integral importance to living up to our fullest potential. So feel free to share what you do down below. I'm curious to hear what it is that you do. Maybe we could help each other. Maybe we can help out others. That's the whole purpose of my channel. I make mental health content because I want to be open and honest about my experiences, and I want to every degree within my power, empower others to live more happy, fulfilling, and meaningful lives for themselves, whether that be pursuing their own passions, realizing that perfection is not attainable, but that we could still become pretty damn excellent, as Vince Lombardi said. He didn't say it exactly like that, but I'm definitely paraphrasing there. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope that you all have a wonderful day.